Facebook Live, but we're going to take a dive into the tiny home living, the myth. Is it for everyone? Is it for you? Is it for the queen? Possibly not. Right now, I've been zoning out on HGTV. And I don't know, I watched an episode. It's posted to my community board if you want to watch the entire episode. It's like 4 episodes of tiny house living, tiny home nation. And I don't know, I got perturbed watching one of the episodes. One of the episodes is filmed right here in East Tennessee, Irwin, which is right up the road from the Queen, about 48 minutes from Asheville, North Carolina, for those of you who are familiar with that general area. I didn't like what I saw in the episode. It was a guy, he and a girlfriend have been dating 5 years or so. He has 2 children, they're teenagers, they live with him. They all live together, there's 4 of them, and also 2 dogs. I didn't put that in on my community page. But you feel free to go to my community and watch the episode. It's about the first 40 minutes into the video. You will see these people migrating from Greensboro, North Carolina to East Tennessee. They have a rafting company. So that is a reason for moving to Tennessee. They want to be close to the water, to their job. So they have this job, a rafting company. What I have to tell myself is, do people raft during the winter? I don't know. I don't get on water except for taking a shower. Okay, that's as far as I'm going. Hell, I don't even can't take a damn bath. So I got to worry about how I'm going to get out the bath. Just keeping it real. But seriously, I was perturbed watching this show because I was like, you have 2 teenagers. They never gave the ages of the boy and the girl. Also 2 dogs, a big husky and a little bitty dog that they took with them, which was strange. So in my mind, I'm trying to figure out where the dog's going to go. Okay, where the dog's going to go. They were asked that during the show. Well, are they outdoor dogs? Yeah, sometimes, but we want them in. I don't want the bears to get to them, blah, blah, blah. Just crazy nonsense. Long story short, I feel like this move from Greensboro, North Carolina to East Tennessee was for that guy and that lady. I think it was more about them, what they wanted. To me, there was no consideration for the teenagers, that they had friends, activities, interests. You know, who's to say that one of them didn't play the cello or the violin, okay? Let's just bear with me. Just imagine one of the kids played a musical instrument. Well, where would they practice the instrument in a little tiny house? See, there was no forethought to me. I felt like it was only about them. They wanted this house to be built because they have this rafting business, so on and so forth. It was never about a worst case scenario. It was never about you saying, okay, well, we've got to travel so long to get to this rafting job during, I guess, the summer months, okay? Their drive from Greensboro to Irwin is 3 hours, 17 minutes, what it says. So about probably 3 hours, 20 minutes. Okay. So then you got to ask that question. So when they're here in Tennessee before they moved, where would they stay? So naturally, that probably would be expensive. You know, renting a camper or doing something like that, okay? Okay, hold on a minute. I don't have time for this nonsense. Anywho, lots of questions, but just bizarre. As I said, I think the move was just for them. They didn't consider the children. I don't know if they asked the kids about moving, how would they feel? The girlfriend says, oh, we've been planning it for a year, talking about moving. You know, naturally they had to get rid of all their things. The guy, the host of the show, he had them put little colored stickers on what they were going to keep, what they weren't going to take. They weren't really take anything because everything was custom built for the new home. So they really didn't get to take anything but their damn clothes. Long story short, they had to revamp inside of that place, putting hooks on the inside and outside. Father taking up space from the walkway to go up to the kids' room because they had the loft. The boy had his own room, the girl had her own room. But the walkway up, you know, a ladder, that breezeway, the father's got his clothes hanging up there, but you couldn't see that, you know, I guess from the bottom. The point I'm making, there was no refrigerator. I didn't see a refrigerator. They had to end up buying one, putting it on a porch. Outside patio, really nice size. Probably more than what was inside. 300 and something square feet, under 400 square feet. About 366, I think, something like that. I don't know, just watching the show perturbed the hell out of me because I was just like, this move was more about what you all wanted. It's not about entertaining. You can only do that in the summer months. People coming over. Okay, the girl, she had some friends come over. But the point is privacy. One bathroom for 2 adults, 2 teenagers. Okay? Now, the girl had her friends over. So how's that going to work when the extra girls came over? Now we're talking about 2 adults, 2 teenagers, plus 2 more teenagers. We're also talking about a big dog and a little dog. No room for kitchenware. No room for hanging up their clothes. The place that was designated for their closets, they end up putting that as their pantry for their food. And what was the first thing that the dad said? Oh, we had to swap this space out because we have teenagers, we have to feed teenagers. So I was like, yeah, you had teenagers before you decided to sell that nice little house in Greensboro to go live in East Tennessee to have this rafting company. It just makes no sense to me. Into the show, you see all these people sitting outside, their guests visiting, where they had, people over, barbecuing, blah, blah, blah. But the gist of the story is that's not going to be your life every day. Common sense, it has to rain outside. It has to get cold outside. It snows sometime in Tennessee, okay? And then you're bordering North Carolina, so you probably can get more snow on that side of the region than where I actually am, okay? Because I'm a little ways from Irwin, Tennessee, and the North Carolina border. So I'm sitting here thinking to myself, they're not thinking about winter. Okay, the house is built right on the river. You're not thinking about if the river floods. When we get a downpour of rain, what if the river floats? Because it's the river, then there's a median of grass, and then another puddle of water. And I thought, okay, what about when the river flows, it jumps that median, it jumps to the puddle close to your house. Your house is made of wood. I don't think they thought this through. And also, I'm going to bring you information about people who live in tiny houses. The divorce rate is 50%. That's the rate of divorce in America anyway. And it's been like that. I know probably 10, 20 years. Divorce rate is at 50%. So imagine buying this tiny house thinking your life is going to be better. And then you look up a couple of years down the road, you're divorced because you realize, I need space, I need privacy, I need to do my own thing, and I don't need nobody hearing me do it. As I said, I don't think they thought it through. We're going to look at some pictures of tiny houses, and you all give me your opinion pertaining to tiny houses. Thank you all so much for joining me. You're listening to the Vault XL. Thanks. All right. Here is a photograph. The pros and cons living in a tiny home. What you should consider before moving in. Yeah, imagine that. Let's look at all these little boxes. Just giving you all an area view. Tell me what you think about tiny home living. Let's start at the top, because there's a lot of them. Can you see yourself either single or with a family, small children, or even teenagers in 400 square feet or less? Now that's a real nice one there. Stay woke, everybody. Can you see yourself living in a tiny home, especially with children? Because the episode I watched today, they had 2 teenagers, a boy and a girl, and 2 dogs. Let me tell you that the boy child is 6'4". So imagine him in a loft bedroom where he can't even stand up straight. Naturally, boy children, girl children, they are still growing, because I did not get the ages of the children. And that is something that I thought about. I said, what if he's still growing? And you got him hunching over all the time. because he can't even stand upright in his bedroom. This is very bizarre to me. As I said, imagine trying to stand upright in your own room or living space, and you cannot because your father and his girlfriend decided they want to downsize to tiny living. Just giving you an area view of different places that have tiny homes. Just giving you an assortment of tiny homes. Could you live in any of these spaces with children? Let's say with children. We won't talk about the single people today. We'll talk about people with children only. This is what your life would be like right here. The parents had a Murphy bed on the bottom level that they could fold up and make it to a 2-seater sofa. 2 poofs were in the floor. That would be for your guests. I'm assuming the boy and the girl. Now, this is a nice looking one here. But the point I'm trying to make is that you have 4 grown-ups with 2 dogs, and you didn't even have a refrigerator, because I did not see one when they were panning the camera to show what they had done to the kitchen, okay? So it was very bizarre to me. I was like, where is the refrigerator? So she ends up saying that near the end of the show, oh, we had to buy a refrigerator and put it on the porch. See, this is what I'm saying. There's no forethought in moving into this tiny house. Why would you want to be in a tiny house with 2 dogs and teenagers? Entertainment, friends, visiting when it's wintertime, Christmas trees. What about your life with your children? What about moving the kids? Didn't they have friends, families, extracurricular activities, hobbies? I don't think they thought about any of those things. Just imagine that while you're looking at these photographs, people trying to live 4 people in something that size. And that one's a little bit better, that bottom one there. So she looks so much bigger. But just imagine. Tiny living. 4 people, 2 adults, 2 teenagers, growing teenagers with 2 dogs. I can't really see it. Hello, everybody. I'm going to do a little reading. Hold on one second. Got to regroup. Hope you all are well out there. Please check out my earlier content. 2 lives, the Menendez brothers and the Menudo allegation against their father, who's deceased, Mr. Jose Menendez. One of the ex-Menudo brothers, I keep saying brothers, Menudo bandmates. His last name is Rosello. He brought an allegation against Jose. So please check out that last live stream. And the earlier live stream has 3 topics pertaining to the woman, the Black girl, Sade Robinson, no longer alive. Mr. Maxwell Anderson, charged with mutilation and murder of her. Nikita David, Birmingham, Alabama, kidnapped, murdered by her boyfriend, Cedric Robertson. He's now in custody. And 4 suspects arrested in the crime of 2 missing women out of Kansas. Thank you. Thank you all so much. All right. Tiny home living. Could you live in a tiny home? That's the question for this live story, because I'm trying to figure out how many of you could do it with children. I don't think most of you could probably do it single. Now, you get homeless, I guess you'll take anything you can get. Do you understand? But hell, even back in the days of colonial living, when there wasn't much, people didn't have much and living on the frontier, people probably lived in, an open room, like, Little House on the Prairie. You didn't have extra rooms and lofts and different things and dens and so on. So you may do. All right. Understanding tiny housing regrets and challenges. Thank you all so much for joining me. The lure of tiny house living may be enticing, yet it's crucial to know that 44% of homeowners experience regrets related to size, and 50% of tiny house homeowners divorcing or splitting up within years of purchase. This figure should be seen as a preparation rather than a deterrent. Before embracing this lifestyle, understanding its potential regrets and challenges is vital. Tiny house living isn't merely about minimalist aesthetics and the freedom of travel. The reality of limited space can result in considerable discomfort and dissatisfaction, even leading to a high divorce rate among tiny house owners. Many, especially those who downsize drastically, often desire more space. And that's what you're going to see in that episode that I'm speaking of. Please go to my community board for the said video. It has maybe 4 stories in that video, and you will see the first family in the first opening credits. It is a couple with 2 children, and in the end, they did not have the adequate space for their clothes, for their food. They had to end up putting hooks on the outside of the house for different, outdoor items they needed. And then naturally, they put more hooks inside of the little tiny home for things such as pots, pans, cutlery, so on and so forth. Homeowner regret often arises from inadequate preparation or unrealistic expectations, with the initial thrill of small living giving way to the reality of confined space. Reputable tiny house companies can assist you in navigating these potential pitfalls, helping you design a home that optimizes your space and comfort. And that is the one question I had. Why didn't they ask the builder, the host of the show, and another partner of his to design them adequate space for food? Who is going to live in a tiny house under 400 square feet and not need a place to store macaroni and cheese, potato chips, canned goods, so on and so forth? The fact that you thought they're going to use a little bitty refrigerator, and it's 4 of them plus 2 dogs, and I never saw a refrigerator. I saw the cabinet space, the sink, all of that. I did not see a refrigerator during the episode of that show. The tiny house lifestyle isn't for everyone, demanding adaptability, compromise, and a truthful evaluation of your needs. So before you commit, research, plan, and assess if this lifestyle aligns with your vision of freedom, striking the right balance between size, satisfaction, freedom, and functionality, along with aligning your dreams with reality, is key to living small without regret. Criticism of tiny living leading to divorce. Considering transitioning to a tiny house lifestyle, be aware of its potential challenges, which may strain relationships, even leading to divorce. Limited personal space. Tiny houses mean sharing limited space with your partner, which could cause tension. Number 2, lifestyle changes, downsizing possessions, adapting to less space, and overcoming the stigma of unconventional living can be daunting. And they did sell or got rid of all their things. Financial burden. Despite lower initial costs, unexpected expenses for maintenance, legal matters, or lifestyle changes can financially and emotionally strain relationships. Exactly. So that's what I was thinking to myself in watching this episode. Please, once again, go to my community page to watch the video. In the mind of the man, because I think he's more the orchestrator in my opinion, I could be wrong, he came across to me as a guy who really wasn't serious about life. That's the feeling I got. He seems to be more of a joker, fly-by-night type character. And I think he is one of those type of men who's one, cheap, don't like to spend any money, probably got tired of paying water bill, light bill, gas bill, mortgage, taxes, the trash fee, because all those things add up. Home security, those things cost when you have a house. And it doesn't matter if your house is 2,000 square feet, 1,500, or you got 6,000 square feet. The point is, once you own that house, you are responsible for whatever goes wrong with it, such as plumbing, electrical, the roof, foundation, sinkholes. You got to pay for that. It's not like living in an apartment where something goes wrong, you call the manager and say, hey, my refrigerator stopped working, my stove stopped working, they send somebody to repair it. When you're a homeowner, you have to pay all those things yourself. And I think this guy, to me, he wasn't the type that wanted to be responsible. He no longer wanted to pay those big bills. You understand what I'm saying? I think he got tired of paying for the necessities of life. And the reason why I really believe what I'm saying is the truth is because of the type of job and business he and the girlfriend has. It's a rafting business. So in my mind, I'm saying to myself, was this more of a seasonal job? Because I know that was mentioned at the beginning of the video. Oh, they've got to travel, so many hours, blah, 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 to get to the job during seasonable months, summer months. So I thought, okay, well, what are you going to do in the winter? So what did they do for winter as far as income when they were living in North Carolina? See where I'm going with this? Now, do people ride the river during the winter months? I'm not sure because I don't know anything about, being on the water. But all those things come to my mind when watching the episode. That's why I know he wasn't the type he wanted to be serious about paying bills. And you have a lot of people like that. They get to a point in life where they're tired of paying bills. And I get it because I'm one of those people. I don't want to pay for a whole lot of nothing. You understand? And I have to tell myself that. Well, if you want your nice size house, you're going to have to pay for it, and you're going to have to pay for what comes along with it. That's just common sense. Here's dating a woman. He ended up proposing to her at the end of the episode. But the point is, I don't think he or she realized you're uprooting these teenagers' lives. You're moving in the middle of nowhere that you don't really probably know much about what it's like living there, what the people are like, because what goes on in Tennessee don't go on in North Carolina. All walks of life are different, yet similar. But what I'm saying is, Greensboro, to me, will be more cityfied, and you're moving all the way to Irwin, Tennessee, which to me is like no man's land. And you're going to move there. You're not thinking about to the movies, activities, the mall, stores like Walmart, Ross. How far is it from where you're living on the river? So you're sitting here complaining about, well, we lived in North Carolina and we had to commute all the way over here to Tennessee for our rafting business. How far is it going to take you to go to basic places such as the grocery store, to get gas, to shop? You got to have underwear, socks, shoes. Got to buy dish detergent. Oh, that's another thing. I didn't see a washer dryer. Julia is so funny. See, nobody pointed any of those things out in that episode. I didn't see a refrigerator. I didn't see what am I trying to say? A washing machine or a dryer? See where I'm going with this? Later near the end, she says, oh, we had to buy another refrigerator. And let me tell you, it wasn't no stainless steel one either. It was just a rinky-dinky old regular looking refrigerator. Probably bought it used. I'm not trying to be mean. I think this man got tired of paying bills. That's what I think. Hello, Ashley. Hello, everybody. I think he said to himself, he got tired of paying bills. I don't know if they owned that house back in Greensboro, but let's just say they owned it. He owned it. He sold that house, got the money from it, put it in his bank account, and he thinks, oh, I'm going to have a better life with this tiny living. But the truth is, he was not anticipating common sense, SHIT, such as space, privacy. How about when you and your wife want to make out? Oh, because that guy, the host of the show, was asking him those things at the beginning of the show. They're not realistic. All right, let's finish reading this information, everybody. Once again, limited personal space, lifestyle changes, financial burden. Despite lower initial costs, unexpected expenses for maintenance, legal matters, lifestyle changes, and financially, emotionally straining relationships. And he probably thinks, oh, it's a little place. It won't take up much, but it's on a lot. Is it on your land, somebody else's land? See, all of those things. Then I saw picnic benches outside. They were already there. So I thought, well, is this public land or who owns the property next door? Because I saw like an old school bus. And see, you got to think about all that. Who are you living next door to? What type of neighbors are they? The fact of being out in the middle of nowhere, propensity for robbery. See, You got to think about stuff like that. You got to know the people, the area you're moving to. You're living off the beaten path. Anybody could pull up, oh, hey, our car broke down. We need this, we need that. And you would hate to turn them away, but you might be helping the enemy. See, you got to think about those type of things when you're living out in the middle of nowhere. I don't think he thought this thoroughly. And then you have teenagers. So what about when you leave them alone? They're at the house and they might be too nice and open the door to the wrong people, or the daughter is sitting out sunbathing or whatever. You understand what I'm saying? They ain't planned this out. After moving into a tiny home, you'll quickly see the benefits outweighing any initial fear of higher divorce rates. Firstly, living costs are significantly reduced as tiny homes are cheaper to purchase, maintain, and heat, allowing savings for other life pursuits. Moreover, they have a smaller environmental footprint due to fewer building materials and less energy consumption, making them a great choice for eco-conscious owners. Living in a tiny home encourages a simpler lifestyle with the need to declutter possessions, leading to a less consumer-driven life. Along the journey, you'll discover the freedom in living with less and appreciating essentials, relationships, and experiences more. Despite being small, a well-planned tiny home can offer comfort, privacy, alleviating fears of strained relationships. With thoughtful design, these spaces can foster a cozy, intimate environment that strengthens relationships. Renters' regrets and divorce. As a renter, you may regret not owning a home, and this could impact your relationship. The appeal of the tiny house movement, particularly owning a small property, may be tempting. You may envision less cleaning, a simpler life, and more freedom. However, the divorce rate among tiny home owners is higher than expected. Number one, as I had already said, limited personal space. They're small, less than 400 square feet, which you share with your partner. The limited personal space can strain relationships, as adjusting to a smaller living space can be challenging. Number two, financial stress. Despite assumptions that tiny houses cost less, the financial reality can differ. The initial purchase or construction of a tiny house can be expensive, with additional monthly costs for renting or parking space. See, I didn't think about that. That's why I asked the question. Those picnic benches that were outside, I thought, well, whose are those? Is this a public campground where you rent a space on the property, or you pay a monthly fee to put your property on, you put your house on the land? That's what I was confused, because when I saw those picnic benches, they look more like public picnic benches, not private. So I was questioning that. So here you have them saying that you have costs for renting or parking space, and that would be the type of trailer, the type of tiny house that would be like a camper on wheels, and you could park it, I guess, at like an RV park or somebody's property. Whether you're a buyer or a renter, considering a tiny or traditional home, remember that your living space significantly impacts your relationship. Don't let rental regrets rush you into a decision that isn't suitable. Ensure your choice increases your freedom, not restricts it. Exactly. The tiny house divorce rate. Despite its appeal, the tiny house lifestyle has a high divorce rate due to the challenges it presents. The appeal of minimalist living in a compact space can be overshadowed by the strain the confined space puts on relationships. Maintaining individuality and personal space becomes difficult. Imagine sharing all your space, including your kitchen, with your partner all the time. Even minor disagreements can escalate due to the lack of space. Additionally, managing finances, maintaining the house, and dealing with potential legal issues add to the stress. However, with proper planning, communication, you can navigate these challenges. Consider how you'll manage your space, respect each other's needs, and handle any tiny house living issues. Remember, choosing a tiny house is not just about the home, but about embracing a lifestyle that requires thoughtfulness, flexibility, and compromise. Single person, yes, I would agree with that. Okay. Maximizing, bad English today. Maximizing space in your tiny house can significantly contribute to maintaining a harmonious relationship. Lack of space can potentially increase divorce rates, so effective organization is crucial. Consider incorporating loft beds to save floor space and provide personal zones. Important too, multifunctional furniture that offers additional storage helps to reduce clutter and stress. Utilize every inch of your house with foldable wall-mounted desk, underfloor storage, and vertical storage on walls and ceilings. So in this episode, they got hooks everywhere. Hooks all through the kitchen, the house, outside. They built a storage box outside in the floor, which made no sense to me because I thought, what are they going to put down there? You got to basically lie on your stomach to pull anything out of there because you literally could jump down in there and stand up. So I thought, well, what are they going to store down there? Because eventually if you store things and stack it up, what if you want something that's on the bottom? How are you going to get it out? What I just said. You'd have to either buy a grabber and pull everything out with a grabber, or lie on your stomach and pull everything out by your arms, and I don't see how that would work. It's just very strange to me. They did have a lot of outdoor space for seating to entertain guests, which was a good thing, but it gets cold here in Tennessee. It rains in Tennessee. So what are you going to do in the winter months for entertaining? You want your friends to come over, your parents come in. His parents did come in because he proposed to a young lady. They had friends over, barbecue outside, end of the episode. But what about the cold months? Nobody wants to stand outside and eat ribs in the cold, in the rain. Stay woke now. All right, so we're talking about making more space so it be clutter-free and not stressful. Utilize every inch of the house. So they're talking about wall-mounted desks, underfloor storage, so on and so forth. Don't forget your outdoor area. It can be transformed into a lounge, garden, or an outdoor kitchen. Clever use of space in a tiny house doesn't mean sacrificing freedom or relationship harmony. Now we're going to talk about creating separate spaces in a tiny home. Utilize your floor space by considering lofted bed storage areas. Can use your vertical space to free up more room for living and dining. And that's exactly what this family did. They put hooks everywhere to hang up utensils, pots, pans, so on and so forth. Implement partitions. Portable screens can effectively divide a room into private spaces, particularly useful in one-bedroom homes. Well, I don't think this is what you'd consider a one-bedroom because they had a Murphy bed that you close up, put in the wall. That became the living area. 2 poofs, TV mounted on the wall, Murphy bed pushed up, and then that had a little seat built in with a cushion for the buttocks and for your back. So really for 2 people, maybe 3 if you're not really heavy. I don't see that being comfortable for long-winded seating. You understand? For sitting for hours, you want to kick back, watch TV. I think at some point you might want to lean over, but there's nothing to lean on because you don't have any arms for anything. So I don't know about that. Think mobile. If possible, taking your tiny home on the road can offer a change of scenery, providing a sense of space and freedom. So this goes to what I was talking about, the camper on the wheels, tiny home on wheels. You're riding this thing around. I guess you can drop it somewhere. I don't know how that goes. I'm not trying to find out because I don't want a house on wheels. I don't want nothing I got to take with me. I don't want to be in a Winnebago. I don't want to be in a van. I don't want that. There's one guy I've watched on YouTube the past couple months. He lives in his van, and it's interesting watching how he navigated out west. And I just thought to myself, I would get tired of this. Then he has a pet, and I just don't see how anybody would want to live with a dog in a van. That would get old. Trying to heat your food, all the things you got to use. You always got to go out to the store to get something. So Walmart's your best friend. So basically, you got to live near a Walmart when you live in a van or a camper on wheels or whatever you call them, Winnebagos. Creating separate spaces in tiny homes is about more than design. It's about fostering an environment that respects individual space needs. Whether you're seeking an alternative to traditional housing or trying to reduce the tiny house divorce rate, these tips can optimize your tiny home living experience. All right, maintaining the relationships in the tiny house. Living in a tiny house can significantly impact your relationship due to the constrained space Every inch is important, making it a delicate balance to maintain relationships in such small residences. It's about more than just budgeting or the freedom downsizing provides. It's learning to share limited spaces like sleeping loss and finding alone time. This involves building a new lifestyle together in a more intimate setting. Effective communication regarding needs, expectations is essential to navigate potential challenges. Adding a sleeping loft can give an illusion of more space and privacy, and creating even small separate spaces can give each individual room to breathe. Regularly leaving the house can offer needed extra space and opportunity to explore and enjoy the environment. Remember, even though it's tiny, it's still a home meant for nurturing your relationship, not testing its limits. Understanding patience, respect for one another's space can make maintaining relationships in tiny houses rewarding and bring you closer. Zoning laws in tiny homes. Navigating tiny house relationships and understanding zoning laws and regulations can be complex but essential. Zoning codes, which control what can be built on specific land parcels, can sometimes hinder your tiny house dream. Ensure to review these codes before purchasing your tiny house. Some areas may permit accessory dwelling units or backyard cottages as secondary housing on a single family lot, offering downsizing alternatives if a full tiny house isn't allowed. Prospective homeowner. Familiarize yourself with these regulations to avoid future disappointments about zoning law violations. Although zoning laws can seem daunting, they are not unbeatable. By understanding and cooperating with them, you can achieve the liberty a tiny home provides, making the journey an integral part of the adventure. Financial considerations. Whew, they got so much. Oh, Lord. So, I'll see if I can try to scheme over this. Let's just go to the conclusion. Before you jump into a tiny house living, remember, it's not just about having less space. It's about learning to live comfortably in a small area with your partner. Make sure you both are on the same page about finances, local rules, lifestyle changes. Don't let your tiny house dream ruin your relationship. Keep talking openly and planning your space wisely. Remember, even the smallest home can withstand the biggest challenges with the right teamwork. So, do couples who build a tiny house have a lower divorce rate compared to people who buy a pre-built home? There's no concrete data proving that couples who build their tiny homes together have lower divorce rates. However, it's plausible that the shared experience could strengthen your bond. You'll face challenges, make compromises, and learn to work as a team. It's not about the house, but the journey you share. Yet remember, it's essential to have good communication and respect for personal space, regardless of how tiny your home comes into being. So basically it talks about responsibilities, maintenance, cleaning, resources for communities for tiny house dwellers, going through a divorce, how do children adapt to living in a tiny house. This can affect the relationship between the parents. And that's something I wanted to say about the episode that's on my community page. So I really want to touch on this because this is what made me do the live tonight. In a tiny house, your kids must adapt to minimalism early on. They'll learn the value of space, belongings, adaptability. This might strengthen your family bond, but it also can add stress. Without ample space for personal time, tensions might arise. It's crucial to communicate openly, respect everyone's need for space, create separate zones for privacy. Like a well-oiled machine, every cog must work in harmony for your tiny house to feel like a big, happy home. Tyrone Law is the source of this information. Oh, okay. Well, let me move it over so you can see it's a vase and not my hair. Okay. Thank you all so much for joining me. If you want to watch the episode I'm speaking of during this live stream, please go to my community page and you will see the video that says For Tiny Home Nation. And it has videos pertaining to tiny home living, people purchasing, blah, 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 their, to transition into the tiny home lifestyle. I did this live tonight because I was just perturbed in watching the episode. A family was moving from Greensboro, North Carolina to Irwin, Tennessee, East Tennessee, and I don't think they thought it out thoroughly. What I would like to know is where they are now and how they're navigating in the house. Because, as I said, they moved to Tennessee because they have a rafting business, people who buy rafters to go in the water. I feel like they only bought this house for their dream, for their life, that they didn't consider their teenagers. It's a difference starting out with toddlers in a tiny house. At some point, as they say, small children, they can get used to the space because that's where they're growing up. They haven't accumulated a lot of goodies. You see what I'm saying? What is strange to me is buying a tiny house with teenagers. That boy and girl couldn't be no more than 15, 16 years of age, somewhere in there. I didn't hear anybody speaking of anybody graduating from graduating from high school, coming out of high school. So that leads me to believe what? That they didn't have friends in North Carolina. They didn't have activities. They didn't partake in sports, extracurricular activities. So now you're taking some kids who've already built relationships, courtships with the town, the community, their school, and move them to East Tennessee. You don't know if they're going to fare well academically, what the schools are like, and you're uprooting those grown kids here with no forethought. The rafting business, I'm not trying to be disrespectful to that. That's their choice of income. I just don't see it. That's more, yes, a summer income. Just like going to the mountains, Pigeon Forge, which is not too far from the Queen. Most of the activities up there is for outdoor, doing things, race, putt-putt golfing, things like that, riding that little thing that you sit in and go over the streets and swing your feet over just to look around, basic stuff that's maybe not for winter, except for when they put the fake snow up there and you can go skiing. It's an outdoor place. That's where we have Dollywood, amusement parks, swim parks, things like that. It's more of a summer amusement area, Pigeon Forge, Sevierville, Gatlinburg. So the rafting to me is no different. It's people getting on the water in the warm months, enjoying the water. What about when summer is over? Who is rafting on the water in the cold? Do people do this? I don't know because I don't know anything about it. But it seems like to me this was more a seasonal job, profession for this couple. So they wanted to move to Tennessee to be closer to the job. But that's what I was thinking. Okay, well, then what are you going to do in the winter months when you move, once you're here? What is the business going to be like then? And that's probably where the expenses came in with them living in North Carolina. They probably weren't making a lot of money during the winter months up until spring, okay? So you now got to worry about what you're going to do for income to take care of the house and the two teenage children. So you're talking about 2 dogs, 2 teenagers, 2 adults. You have to have money coming in to pay the bills, number one. So I'm assuming that was the reason why. We move here, build this tiny house. We're closer to the job. We'll make do during the winter months because we won't have the expenses of living in a regular sized house. But it's the compromise. That's where your problem is. Are you going to really be able to live in this house with 4 average sized adults, a small dog, and a big old husky? That's what I'm questioning. Now, I may Google later to see how they are faring out, if there's any information. But that's what was on my mind tonight. Tiny home living. Could you do it? Could you live in a tiny home of less than 400 square feet? Now imagine you are married. Could you and your spouse live in a tiny home? Now factor in 2 teenage children. Could now 4 of you live in a tiny home? Now you have 2 dogs. So now it's 6 beings cohabitating in a little bitty box of less than 400 square feet. Could you, the viewer, live in a tiny home with 4 individuals and 2 dogs? I want you to think about that. Now imagine somewhere where it gets very, very cold and you're in a tiny house. Naturally, it still wouldn't cost a lot to heat it, but like I said, there won't be a lot of months that you could sit outside on your porch and entertain guests, friends, sunbathe, so on and so forth, because it's winter. So really that outdoor space is just good for spring and summer months, fall months, where you can sit out by the river, enjoy yourself, barbecue, drink your coffee, so on and so forth. But when winter comes, and let's say family wants to come in from out of town, where are they going to sleep? Is an elderly person want to climb up to the rafters, to a loft? That would be dangerous for an elderly person. They can lose their balance. Okay? Going up. Now what about coming down? Because you got to be able to know how to turn yourself around to go down the ladder. So it's not like easy like what people think. You have to be in good shape to be able to do this. Up and down, up and down. Now, elderly people. Small children. Wouldn't be good for small children climbing up and down a ladder, okay? When people are coming to visit, they can't stay with you, so that means they will have to do what? Stay in a hotel. How far is the nearest hotel to this tiny house on the river? See what I'm saying? I don't think they thought all that out. I don't know the demographic of where they're living in Irwin on the river, but I hope they mapped it all out, such as going to get gas, going to the grocery store, okay? What if the grocery store is 20 minutes away? Now you got to think about buying things like ice cream. Who wants to go buy ice cream? That means you got to buy the ice cream last at the store and hurry up and get home to try to get it in your freezer that you've got sitting out on your damn porch, because you didn't have room inside your tiny house for a regular size refrigerator. As I said, they didn't think about any of these things, I don't think. The children, their lifestyles, their age, their friendships, their courtships. They didn't think about storage. Common sense, you're not going to keep wearing the same pants, same shirt every damn day. You will want to change your shoes. Hello? You've got to buy food. So what was designed as their closet, the couple, was their pantry. Say, whoa. Then the father had to use the breezeway going up that ladder to the children's loft to hang his shirts and the overhang. And I was just like, this is crazy. So her idea, the mother-to-be, new wife-to-be rather, she says, oh, nobody can see those shirts hanging up there. I thought, well, what's your point? The kids have got to walk under those shirts to go down the ladder. This is bizarre to me. Just because I'm down here on the floor and I'm looking up at the ladder and I can't see the shirts hanging, I'm trying to understand the mythology behind her saying, oh, you can't see the shirts, I guess from down here. But yet the angle where the camera was panning from the kids' room, I could see the shirts. And so the kids still have to view that going down the stairs. When they're crawling down the stairs to get down to the bottom level, I thought, this lady's crazy as hell. That's the queen. Sky says, I live in a one-room cabin. I lived in a one-room cabin one time, and it was tough, and it was just me. Yeah. Tiny houses would be only be a semi-suitable for a single person. Semi-suitable. Yes. Now, naturally, we still have efficiencies, studio apartments today, and skyboxes. Queen will be going back to a skybox here in 2 weeks. So my living quarters is going to be much smaller than what I'm in now, which I don't really care at this point because, one, I'm 53, I'm getting older, If I don't see a lottery win no time soon, I ain't busting my damn head to care. And that's what happens sometimes. That sometimes your current situation outweighs what you got to do to survive. And that's the gist of the story. As I said, you do what you have to do in life to maintain. Naturally, as you get older, you don't need as much as you think you do. I consider myself very fortunate that I have had the best of a lot of goodies in my lifetime. Home decor, things, clothes, shoes, purses. I've had all of that. The one thing about me is I don't get attached to things, and anybody who knows me will tell you, Queen don't keep nothing. You go to her house one day, there's a chair sitting in the corner. You come back 2 days later, that chair's damn gone. That's just me. I'm OCD. I get bored easily. So I can look at something and like it, and then 2 weeks from now, I could be like, why the hell did I buy that? I don't know why. I've been like that for years now, but I don't get attached to things. And I think that's a good thing, because a lot of people lose their mind in their possessions and the things that they buy. And some of the shit ain't even worth nothing, don't look like nothing, but shit, they like it. So you're like, what the hell, you flip it out about a damn chair or a purse? Everybody's different about their belongings. But I don't get attached to stuff. I like nice things, but I don't get attached to them. And I said that to myself today when I was pulling my clothes out, sorting through the clothes to take with me. I had told myself, well, I hadn't stayed real active during this winter, so I didn't get to wear, a lot of things I had purchased for winter and things I already had, previously. So I said, well, I'm not going to naturally get rid of some of these items, because I know I'm going to wear them back when, winter comes back. There will be, pants I'm going to wear. Naturally, you need pants. You're not going to throw away pants. But I just looked at the items and felt kind of bad, like, dang, you got all these pants and you didn't really wear any of them. Because I found myself wearing stuff just to run around in, and I don't like wearing my really nice dress pants when I'm just out, like going to the grocery store or errand running. And I keep telling myself, you got to stop doing that, Queen, because it defeats the purpose in having the clothes. If you're only picking to wear certain things, when you go out somewhere nice, there's still regular casual looking pants you could still wear, to run around in. But I wore what's more comfortable. And I like my leggings. I just throw them on, put on a shirt, put on a sweater, jacket, duster, poof, I'm out the door, I'm gone. I don't like fastening buttons, zippers. That's one of my pet peeves. But nonetheless, like I said, looking at the the shelf today and putting all of it on my bed, I was like, are you going to wear these clothes next season when it gets cold, ma'am? Because if not, something needs to come out of this pile. Okay? That goes for the shirts, the dresses. So naturally, closet's a little dark when it's and it's time for me to, pull out the spring and summer items. I'm going to make sure that what I take is something I'm going to wear this spring and summer. If not, it's going to get donated. Now I have 2 items on my sofa. They're, winter items, kind of like little dresses, winter dresses, knitted. I'm going to give those to somebody. I did give away a lot of stuff yesterday and today. I got rid of a few items, got rid of maybe 4 items to the neighbor. And that same neighbor, I gave a lot of stuff to her yesterday. Cutlery, silverware, because I'm going to buy new silverware for the next place where I'm going. I don't want to take my silverware with me. I'm real OCD about stuff. I just think time for me to get some more silverware, spatulas, all of that. So I got rid of all that. All kind of stuff ironed today, just different stuff that I don't want to fool with, because as I said, the space that I'm going to be in is smaller than where I am. So really this video was perfect timing for this new journey for the Queen. Another journey, yes. But nonetheless, I'm looking forward to it. And I decided to do this live because, as I said, I was zoning out this evening. And I was watching, HGTV, because that's what I like to do on the weekends, to watch HGTV. Try not to do too much true crime, although I did do 2 lives back to back about true crime. But in my spare time, I really like watching HGTV and home decor. And it gives me ideas and keep my mind in rotation of, what I need to have, what I don't need to have. So the video was up about the tiny homes, and I said, well, let me turn this on. And I'll be damned, first damn video, I'm looking at this couple with these kids, teenagers, and I'm thinking, they didn't think about these kids at all in moving into this damn tiny house. And they're not thinking about how far out it is where they're living, how close it is, as I said, to the town, shopping, grocery shopping, getting gas. You have to think about those things when you purchase property. I don't care if you're renting. I don't care if you're owning a property. You got to think about shopping, basic necessities. Because, see, they moved from North Carolina because of their business here. And they felt like, oh, we've been traveling hours to get there during the summer months. But you're not thinking about after summer's over, people are not coming in to raft. Are you not thinking about that? Winter, living on the river, cold. It's going to get colder on the water. You're not thinking about flooding. Did you check to make sure that area doesn't flood when there's high rain? You got to think about the earth itself. It's not on a hill, thank God for that. But you still got to know if that foundation is secure as far as it giving way with rain. Moisture builds up from a river or lake. If you live near a river, a lake, a creek, moisture builds up in your home. That's why some apartments get mold easily. It's near a little creek or water, that moisture builds up. Humidity. It's hot here in East Tennessee. Very hot. You got to think about that. So I hope the property that they built is built to prevent mold. So you got to think about all those type of things. Hello, everybody. Thank you so much. Hello. You said Bonnie Anderson said studio. Are you in a studio, Bonnie? Hello, Tracy. Are you in a studio, sweetheart? Bonnie says, I lived in a study in college. I was so depressed that I went back there to sleep at night. Bonnie, I understand what you're saying. You said I lived in a studio. I was so depressed that I only went back there to sleep. Oh, only to sleep. Well, that's the whole point of this live tonight. That's why I want you to go to my community page and watch the first episode of the tiny house with the couple and the kids and the dogs. And you tell me if that was a good decision, them moving into that tiny house, building it on the river. I say no, because I don't think they considered the children, because they act like those kids were twins and coming out of coming out of high school in like a couple of months. You understand what I'm saying? It's a difference if you talk to the kids and they said, okay, we're going to go off to college and we're going to stay in that town. We're only going to come back for holidays, spring break. But other than that, we want to stay in the town and live until, we graduate from college. That's another thing. You're not thinking about the airport. Now, Kingsport has an airport. I'm assuming it's still functioning as an airport, but it doesn't have flights going in and out like McGee Tyson that sits over in Alcoa. It's Knoxville's airport, but the airport's in Blount County, which is the county next door to Knoxville, Knox County. See, I don't think they thought about that. His parents came to visit. I don't know if they drove. I don't know where they came from, if they lived in North Carolina or not. But see, you got to think about all of those types of things. If you live out somewhere in a rural area, and like I just said, you got friends and family decide to fly in to visit you. They got to book a room because you don't have any room to house them. How far out is where you live to an airport? Bus station. We don't have any trains that run through Tennessee that I know of. There's no train stations running up through here, East Tennessee. So all you got is Greyhound. You do not want to ride the Greyhound in Knoxville because it's an outdoor bus stop. It's literally a bus stop for our city bus and jumping on off a regular transient bus from city to city, which is dangerous. And right now, they're supposed to be in talks about, a new place for the Greyhound station. So I don't recommend anybody trying to ride a damn Greyhound station in or out of Knoxville. You better either be driving in a car or flying out of here. McGee Tyson. So that's another thing. As I just said, I don't think they considered people coming to visit them, how far out they live to the nearest airport, which is Kingsport, and they don't have flight itinerary like here in Knoxville. Okay? Once again, shopping, buying groceries, getting things you need for the house. How far is the nearest gas station? Shit that you're supposed to think about. And I said, I don't think they thought about it. That's just my opinion. But I watched the episode today. I had to rewind, fast forward, rewind. I didn't really want to see them build the damn house because that was boring to me. I just wanted to see what it looked like, once they built it. And the first thing I thought was, this is too damn small. This is too small for anybody. They build them tiny houses for damn homeless people. That's okay for them because they ain't used to nothing. They ain't used to no space. They ain't used to paying no bills. So they probably wouldn't mind. Somebody who's been homeless a long time, they probably wouldn't mind being in a little tiny home because that'll keep them off the street. But at some point, whether you homeless or not, once you get in a space, you're going to want to put something in there. You want to sit down. You want a bed. You want a chair. You want a TV stand. You got to have your TV on something. And as you live, I don't care who you are going to want something. And whatever it is that you want, you desire, at some point it's going to be a necessity, such as over here in my corner, I have a garbage can. Well, you need a garbage can. You need a mop. You need a broom. You need a dustpan. Oh, that's got to go somewhere. Ding, 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 ding. You need a refrigerator. You need a stove. How much microwaving can you do? At some point, you might want to cook an egg or do something. You need a frying pan. You need a burner, 2-burner, portable burner with a plug-in. See where I'm going? Now, oops, I like coffee, so now you need a coffee maker. That's where I'm going with this. That as time goes, whether it's an efficiency, studio, 1-bedroom, small 1-bedroom, however the place is made, you got to have necessities. Cups, plates, dishware. Got to have something to eat on. Got to have utensils. Places that's small with no counter space, which I don't have a whole lot here. You got to decide what is going to be important in that space. So the place that I'm going to, I've got to go back and relook because it was a quick walkthrough. I've got to go back so I can visualize where everything's going to go because I don't want to take anything that is not going to be any room. You understand what I'm saying? So I'm not taking any big items, period, to my knowledge. But what I'm going to do with this sofa, that's a whole nother story because I haven't decided because I really don't want the sofa because one, I don't like the color and the arms they're kind of hard. They're not the low rolled arms that I like, comfortable for, taking a good little nap and watching a little telly. But the point is, I can't put a lot in the space. So it is kind of interesting that I would be talking about this video, and I'm also getting ready to downsize myself. But you have to know the space that you're in. And that's something we may talk about again, because I've showed you a little hoarding video back in the winter. This girl cleaning New York apartments, how filthy those apartments were, and she does it for free. She has a YouTube channel, Barbie. Check out her content when you get a free chance. We may talk about that. This week, we may go into a little space-saving venture this week. Do you have too much stuff in your house? And what can you do to alleviate your treasures? Are they treasures? Or is it junk? Is it old? Is it battered? Is it torn? Is it soiled? Are you using it? And do you need it? We're gonna take a dive into that this week. I've already got plans for tomorrow. That'll be probably O.J. Simpson and some other content. Tuesday will be John Wayne Gacy. That'll be a Crime Vault video. And then the rest of the week, I can free fall on other type of topics. And I think we need to talk about upsizing and downsizing. Should people have more space as they get older? or less space. Now, naturally, I don't want to be in a little bitty box at this age because I still like nice things. I still like to collect a few things. But the point is, sometimes you don't have a choice, depending on your circumstances and where you find to live. So you do what you have to do at that time. But I can see myself as I get older than 53. I definitely would not need a big old house or, a big grand apartment. And most apartments aren't grand anyway, unless you got a lot of money to pay for a really supersized 1-bedroom or 2-bedroom. But the point I'm making is, do you need the space where you are right now in your life? Do you need ample space? Let's say 1,000 square feet or a little less for just you? Or could you go smaller with just you? This is not for people with kids. This is just for you single people out there. Or are you a single person that would like to be in 2,000, 3,000 square feet or more, 5,000? Oh, at one time I always wanted a 6,000 square foot house. Those are the days when I had these, big old dreams about being famous. I'm like, honey, I want to be a 6,000 square foot house because I like to be able to move around. I want to, one day I might want to be in the den. One day I might want to be in the TV room. One day I might want to be out on the patio, covered patio or whatever. I want some space. So I started looking at 6,000 square feet when I started watching all these home decor videos. And I was telling myself, Queen, 6,000 square feet, that's quite a bit of space. You think you wouldn't get scared in there alone by yourself? You get the flinching and jittery sometimes in this little 1-bedroom thinking you're hearing stuff. So 6,000 square feet, you might start hearing a whole lot of something. But that's just food for thought. So you all ponder on that this week. Are you happy in the space that you're in? Are you content in the space? Are there things you have in that space that you do not need? Do not need, do not use. And could you, at the age you are, especially if you're near Queen's age, 50 plus, could you be content in, let's say, a tiny home, a studio, small 1-bedroom, or would you prefer a bigger place? And you tell me how much space would be suitable for you. So I'll probably put up a post after this live, and I'll ask you your age, and I'll ask you the square footage that you're in and what you prefer, and you just put your answer down under the post. Thank you for joining me. This is live number 3. Please check out the other 2 lives from earlier. Like, share, subscribe. Take the polls. And if you'd like to donate to this great network, $BeganG129 Cash App, stickers, and chats are always welcome during the live stream. I dread this week because I don't want to talk about any more true crime. I'm just burnt out in talking about all these dilemmas and these he said and she said and Pookie Bubba said. It's wearing me thin. I just like talking about other things sometimes, such as what I'm talking about right now. I'm talking about tiny living. Could you live in a tiny house? Do you think tiny living is beneficial or not beneficial? Do you think it would cause people to get a divorce? That was what was discussed during this live stream. I really wanted to just talk about tiny living, but when I went into Google search, it was talking about 50% of people get divorced to live in tiny houses. So I said, well, I'll just throw that in the title. But is it conducive, tiny living, for you as a single person, or a person with children, or a person that's married, a person in a relationship? Do you think more people would get a divorce down the road, or early on rather, after living in the tiny house and realize, this ain't working, you can't buy nothing, you can't collect nothing, you can't have basic stuff. We made a mistake, we shouldn't have done this. Now we gotta sell this damn place. Because you gotta find somebody that want a tiny place. That's another thing. It's not like selling a house, because people need houses, especially right now with the market. People need houses. because most people have children. Single people are probably wanting to buy because it's probably just cheaper to go ahead and buy a house, because what you're paying for rent now for a 1-bedroom is what you would pay for a tiny house, basically. You know what I'm saying? A really small house. So that's the gist. We're going to talk about that too. The market lately, the rent, what it costs to live now in homes, apartments. I was looking at some new places that are coming up here in my area, and it's scary when you start talking about paying $1,000 a month for a place. Naturally, when you think of $1,000, especially in East Tennessee, you're going to be assuming that it's going to be a really nice place, that all your fixtures are going to be new, flooring new, appliances new, everything's new from the door handle to the sink. When you start looking at places that are $1,000 and it's old and run down and crummy and they ain't offering you shit, you're thinking, why am I giving you this money? I could be in a house. And that is the point. Because I can actually say for this dump that I'm in, it is not worth the money that they are charging. And it's obvious they don't plan on making it better. Because one, you don't know how to choose people to live in it. You have a high turnover rate. And it is not HGTV material by any means. Because I think that once you go near $1,000 a month for apartment, it should have new fixtures. It should have newer appliances. Do you understand what I'm saying? It should have a stainless steel stove, refrigerator. It should have an air vent over your stove. I don't even have that. So that's to help with fires, help reduce smoke, humidity. Stay woke. An even foundation. Okay? No cracks in the walls, no cracks in the foundation and the porch. Yeah, I'm keeping it real. Washer dryer connection. How are you going to charge somebody $1,000 a month and don't even have a washer dryer connection? This is for you landlords, and some of you need to hear this. Because some of you don't need to be landlords either. We're going to talk about that later too. You got to offer something. Oh, at college? Okay. You got to offer something for a price. Everybody knows that. Just like right now, you go in a neighborhood and the house is $500,000, $700,000, whatever. Okay? And I ain't talking about California because that's a whole different ballgame out there. But I'm going to say for my area, $500,000, you'll be in a nice house. It ain't getting ready to be no cheap looking house, okay? So when you walk in a $500,000 house in this area, what would you be expecting in there? Green grass, a door that ain't broke up or chipped up. Same with the back door. Oh yeah, I'm going there. Washer and dryer connection. Matter of fact, a whole damn laundry room. You would expect decent flooring, possibly new. You would expect new appliances or newer appliances. You're damn right. Because right now I can't see putting money down on a $500,000 house right now. And I walk in there and the floors are old, the cabinets are old, the fixtures are old, the washing machine and dryer are old, the stove refrigerator is old. You wouldn't get a dime from me. I wouldn't even give you $10,000 on the damn house. Hell no. Because by the time you start going to Home Depot and Lowe's to get flooring, or whoever you're going to get your flooring redone, carpet stripped up, all that costs labor. New appliances, you know how much a stove and refrigerator costs, stainless steel? It ain't gonna be $200 probably. Okay. You need new light fixtures. You want to get something a little modern. You don't want nothing old, broke down. Fixtures on the outside of your house, your lanterns. Oh, those costs. I tell anybody, you want to know what it costs to run a house? Seriously. Go into Home Depot. You want to get an idea of what it costs to run a house, to put a house together. Go into Home Depot and look what it costs to buy basic things, such as a stove, refrigerator, cabinetry, light fixtures, plumbing fixtures, doorknobs, and I'm not talking about any old looking shit. I'm talking about what's latest, most modern looking fixtures, the chrome and the matte finish gold bath fixtures. That's what's in. Marble looking tile or marble like tile. All that stuff costs. And there are liquidator places you can get cabinets, stonework for your kitchen countertops and things like that. You have to know about that. You have to look around for that kind of stuff and go to the wholesale people, so you don't have to spend so much money. But the point I'm trying to make is, if you look in these places and you see what it costs to buy just basic things such as the faucet for the tub and all that shit adds up. New tub or finishing a tub, that costs. Putting down the flooring, the labor to do that. Okay? All that costs. That's right. It costs to have a house. It costs to put nice things in a house or a rental. And that's what you want in your house or your rental. And if you're renting, you can command the rent money because you're offering amenities to the consumer. The flip side is we have people, slumlords, they just want you to just give them the fucking money, and they got chipped floors, unleveled floors, old appliances. I mean, like over here, don't get me started because I will put a motherfucker on blast. Who takes money from somebody and put an old eye cover on the stove? You can buy eye covers from the Dollar Tree or the Dollar General. An eye cover is $1.25 at the Dollar Tree. Okay? Ting, ting, ting. Might be two in a pack for $1.25. You all see where I'm going? Hello, Miss Jackson. Thank you. That's okay, honey. You can start, Parrot. You can start over. So what I'm trying to say is, you give somebody an old ass stove in an apartment that you're charging them $1,000 a month, and you don't even have the decency to buy a decent eye cover to put with the eye. I'm not shitting you. And I told myself, when you see little things like this, you will shortchange me on bigger things. That's what I always say. I say that about people in general, life. If you lie about little things, you'll lie about something big. And if you're renting from people that won't even do basic things in an apartment or rental, they ain't getting ready to do nothing big, such as having a window with a crack in it. Who the fuck rents an apartment with a cracked window? And then it took you at least, a month and a half, 2 months before you repaired it. See, those are things I'm talking about. Those are the kind of people we have out here. Those are the kind of people we have. Ask your mama. Anywho, be careful who you rent from. I'm off on another subject now, but just saying, be careful who you rent from. Don't settle for less. Your money is valuable. Your money is important. And don't give your money to anybody. You see something you don't like in a rental, let them know. Hey, you going to do something about this? Are you going to fix this? Don't wait till you get in there. Say something about it before you even consider the place. Say, hey, is this stove going to stay here? Is this refrigerator? It don't look clean, or the floor looks like. Say something. Call their bluff. Because what they should say is, oh, well, he or she said something about it this time. I show this place to somebody else. They'll come in. They'll say the same damn thing. I better fix that. Do you understand what I'm saying? This is how you get yourself. You don't want to get yourself in a position where once you're in the place, then the people start acting all janky about, oh, okay, I'll get around to that. Oh, I didn't notice that. You didn't notice you had a cracked window? It's your property and you don't notice that the fucking window is cracked in your own property? This is bullshit. Sunday, don't get me started. But I'm just being serious. But that was the live. I'm going to go back and finish watching my HGTV because that's my zone time. Because I don't want to watch anything depressing this evening. But go to my community page, check out the Tiny House Nation video, and tell me what you think. If you agree with those people moving to Tennessee from North Carolina, if they should have moved, and did they consider the feelings of their teenage children? Because I don't think that they did. And that's why I made this live, I don't know about this Tiny House Nation BS. I think it's okay for some people. It may be suitable for some, but not for all. And just like the article I read to you, it put the nail on the head. What starts out as a good idea, you're thinking it, oh, this is going to be great. We're going to cut bills and costs and, all that. That's good on paper. And we already know about what's good on paper. It sounds good until you get in the situation. So imagine selling all your stuff that you do like, some of the stuff. Now you're in this little bitty box, 4 people and 2 dogs, and you don't have room for basic necessities. Clothes, shoes, toiletries, pots, pans. Because as I said, you gotta eat. And with 4 people and 2 dogs, hell yeah, you're running through food. So you didn't think to have those guys build you a pantry, build you then a closet space. Because when you watch the video, you want to see at the end of the video, they're using their closet as a food pantry. And the father is also using this upper space that goes over the up to the loft. There's a little space up there that they got a bar. He's using that to hang his damn clothes. And that space leads up to the kids' bedrooms, to the loft. So check out the video. You'll see what I'm saying. And comment below the video and let me know what you think about my concerns and my complaints about that tiny house. Was it a good idea for that family to move from Greensboro, North Carolina to Irwin, Tennessee? Thank you so much for joining me. I will talk to you guys later. God bless all of you. Have a wonderful week. And next video will be about OJ, P. Diddy, John Wayne Gacy. All that's coming this week. So look out for those said live streams. And later in the week, we're going to talk about having too much stuff. We're going to look at some photos of hoarded houses, houses with too much stuff in them. And then we're going to chit chat. And you all tell me how you're living. And are you in a space that's overcrowded with too much stuff, too many knickknacks, shoes, clothes, toiletries, collections, outdoor furniture, so on and so forth? I would like to hear from somebody on the live stream, or hell, somebody give us a tour of their house that's got a lot of stuff and they need to throw some stuff out. That'd be nice to have. But nobody likes to hit the live stream anymore. So I just do live from this device and roll with it. But thank you so much for your time. Y'all have a wonderful week. It's going to be really warm here in the high 10. And prayers to the victims mentioned on my live stream from earlier, the women I mentioned who are no longer living. Prayers to all those women, victims' families. And I'll be back with more stimulating content and commentary. Thank you all for coming in late. Make this video go viral. Share it with somebody who's considering buying a tiny house. Tell them, hey, make sure you do your homework before purchasing a tiny house. Make sure it's in a place you want to be in, the area, land. Check out the land, check out the neighbors, check out everything. Because it will be a life-altering experience if you can't live with less. And less than 400 square feet, that's literally having nothing. You're talking about 1 frying pan, 2 forks. And I don't know if some of you can live with 1 frying pan and 2 forks. I'm just saying, you might not even have room for a spoon. So, hey, do your homework. Thanks for joining me. You've been listening to the Vault Excel. Thank you.